we setting everything up. So let me just get over here. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do today. So 1 second. Check, check. Okay, cool. You can hear my voice. 1 second while I get my iPad set up so that so I can see comments if somebody comes in the room. All right. Cool. All right. 1 second. All right. So when I do these sessions, sometimes 1 second. Let me grab this. I don't always know which direction I'm going as far as making music. I'm literally just making the music. So let's just see if we can figure out what we're going to do. All right. I guess the way to figure this out is what inspires me at the moment. And lately, it hasn't been much, I'll be honest. So, which is pretty much why I didn't do a video yesterday. I try to do videos every day, but I need something to talk about, which we'll have plenty to talk about tomorrow, as I'm going to be getting the Yamaha URX 44 interface. So we'll be doing not only an open box with that one, but also seeing how it works with my setup. And then hopefully you'll benefit from hearing it and seeing it and kind of getting a person's perspective that's not getting paid to do it, that actually purchase it on my own. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm, yeah, hoping that it turns out very nice. So we'll see. All right, what do I feel like making? So sometimes I'll start with texture, sometimes I'll start with drums, a sample if I have one. I don't have any of that stuff in mind at the moment. So my basic go-to would be either a guitar, right, or a piano of some sort. Or if I'm feeling like exploring, I might go grab like Myth or Novum, something to that perspective, and see if I can come up with some sounds. So I'm gonna go with Myth to start out, and we'll see. Just if I get inspired by any of the sample packs, or not sample packs, preset packs that I have in here. So expressive ease, unfold artifacts. We'll take the factory and user off, and then if you just hit the preset button here, you can go through sounds. So that immediately takes you right to ambient cinematic. Not necessarily what I want to do. So we're going to get rid of that. I got an idea to go maybe do something that I don't always do, which is use the bass first. A lot of times I'll do bass after I do my drums. But the reason why I want to try doing bass first is because I don't want to play my standard go-to muted bass, jazz bass. I want to go with an upright bass and see if I can come up with something that just motivates me. So I don't know what key I'm going with, which is fine. I'm gonna put a keyboard down here, keyboard monitor so you guys can at least see what I'm messing around with down here, and then I don't have a scale yet because I haven't started playing, but I haven't come up with the idea yet. So, all right, so let's just try to pick something in there that maybe get us started. I'm going to use MIDI capture. That's the best way I think to get back to it. Let's see what we got. Hmm. I kind of like, let me see. Let's start it here again. Let's listen. No, not there. Like, start it. Okay, so right here, this note, I'm going to pull it back here and extend it. And we're going to start on this particular. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I want to put that where it was, right there. And oops. Nope. Just delete it. Yeah, we'll just leave what this is. All right, the timing is pretty bad because I'm just obviously playing around. I need to play with a metronome if I want better timing. Um, just because I'm just trying to figure it all out. So that's what we're doing here. Let's start back at the beginning. And you can see here, though, when I do the capture MIDI, I can get an idea for what the BPM is. So it looks to me like 72 and a half. We're going to go with 73. Now we can turn the metronome on and kind of play with the metronome. At least then we get a better chance of having something that's in time. So let's just turn it on and we'll start playing. Okay, I like that. So let's look in here and see what we got. Command J to consolidate it. Again, we're starting from scratch. We're just coming up with something to get us going. And then let's see where we go from there. So I'm going to zoom in to here so you can see what I'm doing. This is going to be the start. Even if we just get 2 bars to start, that's fine. Okay, I kind of like the way this goes, but it needs to be something else before that. Let me see. Okay, let's get rid of this. I feel like that first bar could be played. So we're gonna do this here. We're gonna highlight this section and just drag it here. That automatically, maybe we could duplicate this portion of it and see what we got with these first four bars. I can't even talk today. Let's see what's here. All right, let's work on that timing. We're gonna redo it, try to get the timing a little bit better. We got the metronome, so we should be able to just play. All right. So that's a slower, totally different tempo, but let's see what it feels like in real time. And I could put some drums in temporarily just to get started, but so this note here is definitely off. All right. I don't like this note here. It's not maybe there. And then let's shorten this one and lengthen this one a little bit. Doom, 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 doom. I'm gonna go this note here. And then I'm going to bring the volume of that velocity down so it'll sound. See if this works. Doom, 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 boom, ba boom, ba boom. So if you can hum it too, it helps a little bit. I want this note. It can be a little slight before, but it needs to be there. Now, some people don't start with a bass line first. I know that seems weird, but if you think about it, it can kind of lead you to where the chords are supposed to go. So there's nothing wrong with it if you can do it. You just have to trick your mind into trying something a little different. See, there we go. So we got a little bass line going. It's only 4 bars, but let's duplicate it, make it 8. And for the sake of getting a jump start, whether we choose to use it or not, I'm gonna go with Analog Lab this time. I'm gonna go into the electric pianos. What is this one? Just looking through here, 70. No way. All right, let's just get some. All right, so let's do this. So you hear the bass going, right? Let's figure out what key we're playing in. I kind of have an idea, but I prefer to actually put it in here and figure it out. So let's do this. and we're gonna go MIDI detect. So it's gonna MIDI detect from the actual trillion, right, into it. And if you press here, you can go detect MIDI, hit the record button, and just press play. Oh, you gotta actually be over here. So it's gonna pick it up now. I know it's minor. I knew that from the beginning. It was just whether. Perfect. That's good enough. So we'll stop it. So it's F sharp or G flat minor. So we just go in here, pick that, set it to minor. And now we have our scale. Okay, so now we have a scale. We're going to set that scale for the whole song here. So go ahead and do that now. And this is good because it gives you, if you need a reference tool, you have a reference tool. Like for instance, when you're on this, you could just lock the scale, right? Now you have the scale locked and you can kind of see if you're playing chords. And not having a keyboard lock allows you to learn the scale a lot quicker. So it's not that complicated. Most scales are about 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's pretty much what it is. Now you can take those notes and come up with chord ideas. Right? I'm just using that. That's a basic example. I'm not going to get too technical on that, but at least now you could also go back into scalar if you wanted to. And let's say, like me, you don't have anything in mind that you just want to play. We're going to dump this information here because we don't need it now. But we're going to go down, and I know kind of that I want to use some jazz chords with this. And we just need to find something in that scale. Now, we can place it in that scale if we wanted to. F sharp minor. So if you see right here, here's F sharp minor. The relative major is A. So you can use A major or F sharp minor. So we can pull these dark jazz chords up. Let's see if we have any other jazz chords that are in F minor. So we have these neo soul, not F minor, I'm sorry, F sharp minor. Got to make sure I say that right because there is a difference. Okay, so far that's the main one I have in that scale. F sharp minor, no. So you can change any of these chord progressions by transposing it. I don't want to personally. I'm just gonna lock that in and throw scalar through here to see if I can find something that I feel fits the overall vibe of what I'm doing here. So I want to keep my bass line. I want to piggyback off of this. What's up, Oscar? Good to see you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm honestly starting from scratch, just building from not even knowing where I'm going, just practicing and seeing what I come up with. And if this doesn't work, no big deal. I can find some other roads that work fine. Let's use the UAD roads. Where are they at? Vintage keys. There we go. So we can try different keyboards to see what comes up and feels good. As soon as it decides to load. I'm gonna turn 1 second while I turn this master down so that when I'm talking, it's not me combating with this stuff though. Now, if you get too busy with the keys, then the bass line gets kind of weird when you're trying to fight a bass line. So you might consider, this is no rule, but this is just what I'm saying based on what I'm thinking. You might consider just playing simple chords. I say simple, but they're jazz chords, but still just basic chords. So we'll let the bass line play and see where we go from there. I know that I was listening to some Parliament, some P-Funk stuff, and I did not realize that back in the day they would go like with a 1/4, like a 1 chord to a 4 chord, and that would be the whole song. It's like crazy. I was like, "What?" But it's what they did, and it was, you would never know that if you didn't dive deeper into what they were playing. Simple, but the way they played it was just so good. It felt good. It felt right. So it's proof that you don't need a lot to make it sound good. It's just getting the right chords, the right, vibes with it. So something like this could work, like going from a B minor 7 to a C sharp 7. So let's just try that. And I'm going to hold the chords for like 2 bars each instead of doing it for one. So let's do record this time. So something I've been noticing, and I really don't know if this is a scalar thing, if it's Ableton, but when I press that first chord on a record, it never plays it in right. So I'm going to start my recording back here. Okay, that's my dog. But something also noticing here, 1 second, while I get this dog to calm down. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, she gets to barking if she sees anything. One of the things I forgot to do, which I probably should go back in here and say, oops, pressed it too many times. There we go. Make sure your humanize is on for both of these, for both the timing and that, so that you don't get such a stale chord. And each chord is going to have some slight variation in it. So like this one could be a little more randomized. Not a lot, just a little. Same thing with this chord. There we go. Just to give the notes a little extra, little velocity changes. I don't like where I went here. So I'm going to get rid of this. And for now, since I'm just keeping it simple, there's some other note. There it is right there. Let me get rid of that. For now, to keep this simple, we're just doing 2 chords. We may change that a little later, but for now, we're just going to keep it simple. Command J. Okay, so there's our 2 chords in this song, 2 jazzy chords. And now we just go. I'm going to turn the volumes down right here. And a technique that you can use in Ableton, for sure, is highlight all of these and then put some deviation on them, and then take this deviation. That way, when you, if you, let's say you want to duplicate this little area here, the next time it plays, it'll play it a little different, right? Instead of it being exactly the same. And then I'm gonna lengthen these last notes here just a little bit out. Same thing here. Now we can go back in later and change this. We're just getting something started, and just so we have an idea. I'm gonna turn these chords down. Cool. Second one, I take this Bluetooth out of my ear. All right. I'm gonna go grab some jazz brushes. I like this one. It's a little bit softer than that other one. All right, I'm gonna do weirdly. I'm gonna play the snares in this time because, or excuse me, these rims, because I want to get a feel for it, and then we'll add in the kicks. Everything seems backwards this time around, but that's how I mix it up so that I don't get to doing the same thing over and over and over. All right, here we go. And we can adjust some of these volumes because I can tell you now, like this first hit is way too high. I don't like anything like feel like anything needs to play that dang loud. Got better here, a little bit too low there. And I'm just moving around bits and pieces to what I like personally. So you adjust according to your vibes and what you do. um, let's see. I'm gonna set this for, so if I'm gonna quantize this, which I usually wouldn't, I would say put it on like 1/32 maybe. Command U and then quantize. At least do. And I noticed some of them are still off. So like you might have to go in and make adjustments accordingly. Um, for instance, if we zoom in, I'm not talking about the ghost hits as much as I am these right here. They need to be a little bit more on. This one, the same thing. Move it that way so it's on. You could obviously play this again. This is the same principle here. These could be a little bit better. That looks good. This one is off a little bit. This one is off. All of that. Let's move it over. I'm just pushing it over to put it on. And then you can always adjust this later. I think these are off just a little. Yep. This one's off right here. Okay, cool. So there it is. Now I played it all the way through for a reason, to give it a little more feel so I wouldn't have to do so much adjustment in these variations. But you can, same principle, add deviation to this if you want to. So I usually deviate in the negative area because I would rather it go lower than me pitching it higher, or playing it louder rather, I'm sorry. So that's just how I work. Now we can, not a fan of this kick as much, but right here you can lower the volume on it. I don't want to lower it too much though. But I'm not going to use a lot of kicks. So I'm going to draw the kicks in. Starting here on the one. So what I'd rather do personally is just duplicate the kicks all the way out. It's pretty simple. These are the only though on the one though. And I'm going to shrink them back just a little bit. There you go. Now they're too loud, obviously. So we're going to vary the volumes, put some deviation on them, and bring them down a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead and play the hi-hats in, and then we'll add the ghost kicks in afterwards. So that's fine. I'm cool with that. There you go. So what we'll do is we'll merge this together. I'm fine with just playing that for now. Hit that button and then just duplicate it over. All right. And then what we can do is add deviation to that to make it so that it doesn't play exactly the same. So we'll go there, throw a little deviation on it. Oops, I forgot to highlight this section here. There we go, a little deviation. And then we have so you can leave it this way, the way I played it, which sounds pretty good. But if you feel a little insecure, in some ways, we all do, I think, unless you're an authentic drummer. Maybe you do like a 1/32, and then see if that sounds good. I don't care for it, I'm gonna go back to where I naturally played it and leave it for now. If there's a note or so that I need to fix that I feel is just really badly off, then I can go in and adjust just that note. But if it's slightly off, it's not going to be that bad. You can tolerate it. It's part of. All right. One of the things you can do in Ableton that isn't in other DAWs is you can throw a groove over it. Sometimes it's beneficial and sometimes it's not, if I'm being honest. So, like, I have these D'Angelo grooves here. Um, so you could take one, just drop it on, and now it gives it some more swing. Not bad. By the way, a lot of people sleep on this thought though, but let's say you have in your mind a um a groove that you like from another artist. So you want to take that groove from that song and put it on your drums. It's really simple. I mean, in Ableton at least, you can just right click and then you can extract the groove. So that is right here. See that button? Extract the groove. So if you extract the groove, you can build your own set of grooves that you like, bring it in and put some drums in that you draw in, and then throw the groove over the top. And it'll give you kind of that swing that you like. So it's just a little cheater's way to do it. Of course, playing it is better for sure if you can. But if you're not a drummer and you struggle with that and you need some kind of some assistance but want that sound, you can do it that way. Hey, what's up, Ed? Good to see you, man. So just a couple little things you can do. Again, we're using two chords the whole song at this present point. Um, all right. Let's grab some guitar. Nope. Let's go get a 335. I don't. All right, I'm gonna change the sensitivity for my guitar, aka the way I can bend a note, just so that I can I'm gonna turn fix that. And I'm gonna turn this delay off because it's driving me crazy. Every time I hear it, I get annoyed. It's like a slap back delay, but I just don't want it. Trying to find what notes. I know the scale, but I'm trying to find out what chords I want to play. Or not chords, but melody. All right. So we're using the 335. Put that on purple. And this could be that, or it could be I choose to use a tenor sax or something. So we'll see. Or maybe both. This is my go-tos when it comes to kind of playing melodies and leads, but you can use anything obviously if you want, just depending on which your vibe is. All right, so you can see what I'm playing. I'm gonna throw a keyboard monitor over this one, lock the scale, throw it back, and give you 49 keys. Okay, let's switch up. You want to mess with the tenor? I have some ideas of what we can play, but I like to mess around a little bit, aka jam, till I find what really fits the bill. I'm gonna put a little Valhalla reverb on this one, particularly the room reverb on this tenor sax. And I have a preset I kind of set up that I like to use just right here. Then I usually turn the volume down a little bit because it can get pretty loud. And you'll see there's literally nothing coming from this. So we're gonna go in here, go to MIDI map, and use. I typically would just try to go with the standard default. Yeah, you know what? Let's just MIDI map this one here. It says Aftertouch CC. We'll just leave it on Aftertouch. I'm gonna check out the curve. Symmetry. This is where I still hope that Swam will go in and add the expressive E in, because trying to figure out this stuff with the curve is not my forte. Not my thing, really. But you can see, like, if I just, it immediately fires off 100%. I need it to be more gradual. So it gets pretty crazy quick. Here, let me go to here and just unassign it. But you can see it's not working, so we're gonna take it out and then reload it back in here and see if we can. Yeah, I know. Let's see. It's tweaking. See what it's doing? It's like, what in the world is this? All right. Initialize. We have no volume here. It's doing weirdo stuff right now. Keyboard default. There we go. Now the expressive part is left out without MIDI mapping, so we're gonna, for this sake, MIDI map it again. Okay, cool. All right. It's a little loud for my taste, so I'm gonna pull it down to about -9-ish. Do that. And let's just see what it sounds like with this. What's up, Marcus? Nah, it's not working for me. All right, back to the guitar. Okay. So no rushing. If it ain't there, it ain't there. Leave it alone. So far, we did 2 chords, literally just 2 chords. This bass line, which I started with the bass line this time instead, using an upright. So that's a fattener. We could just put like a color limiter over it, add some saturation in. Sounds a little bit more natural than the bass fattener. Get rid of that. If we need volume, we just increase the loudness, but I'm gonna leave it. Let's put a color limiter on these chords. Just a little bit. It's a little too much actually, so let's get rid of it. Let's put something on the drums though for sure. All right, let's listen to the drums or everything. Ooh. Okay. So if we like it, I always agree with that. Use MIDI capture. That last note was terrible. Whatever. Was this the note I played? No. Okay. Okay. So if you struggle with coming up with leads and things of this nature and you can't play it all in one take, that's perfectly fine. Just play what you can. As long as you like what you play, right? The then just use MIDI capture and capture parts until you get it where you want it. So I would say, and then you can always, basically, what do they call that? What's the term that singers do? Punch in. Yeah, I think that's what they say. So you could always punch in um, wherever you want. So just punch back in at this point and then start playing again if you come up with some. So let's see. Cool. Then did this thing? What did this do? Hold up. Didn't say what I. That's weird. Let's do. I did undo capture, but it didn't. Oh wait, maybe it captured it up here. Hold on. So let me see. No, that's the first part. Never mind. So what I was trying to do is just MIDI. I thought I MIDI captured what I just did, but I didn't. So where is this at? Hold up. All right, we're gonna get it now. There we go. For some reason it didn't take the first one. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna lock that in. I like to Command J, which is consolidated. Nice. So I was thinking like a little slide or something, but um yeah, I could add that later if I want to. All right, cool. So that is your basic startup for a song. Take that off. We'll add in a little bit more of that reverb on those drums. Get rid of this. Don't need it. See, I like my kicks to stay a little bit low, but we can go back in and work on those because I only put in some kicks on the one. So I don't want a ton of kicks going on. The bass is kind of carrying the groove. Oh, by the way, you can join this groove in with the bass. So you could do that. Let's just see what that sounds like. Don't really care for it, so we'll take that out. So we're not gonna. I'm only gonna leave the groove on the actual drums. I'll leave the bass where it's at. It's fine. Let's go back to the drums though and work on this. All right, so let's add in some more kicks. Now, in theory, I would say I would typically play these in, but the lazy me right now is saying I don't feel like it. So we're gonna go in and just add them in manually. See, that's just extremely loud. To do, I'm gonna extend that. This one might be a little too low, but this one, let's see what that sounds like. Nope, don't like it. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right, let me listen and imagine where it would go. I feel like I don't even need extra kicks for some reason. Maybe I'm just not hearing it right now, but I'll leave that one. That sounds good. Yeah, I feel like if you put too much in, it can get kind of to be a bit much. So I'm gonna put one there. I'm gonna go less kicks in this song, which is interesting. Um, let's see what that sounds like. Eesh, maybe. Oops. On the. Let's see. Nope. Don't like it. Let's try again right there. See if I can. I think it's because I did a lot of ghost notes on the rim that I'm kind of like, all right, I don't need to add much more to it. Duplicate that, and now you have that. And then if you want to change up at the end, you could add a fill in or whatever. I'm gonna go take a peek at it. Oops. So instead of having all these extra, you gotta leave this one. But maybe like this one could be kick. This one's a little loud. I'm gonna bring it down. Oops. Right there. So let's see. I like that. Okay, because it's a little different on the end, so that gives it your ears waiting long enough to want something but expect nothing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I'm imagining. All right, cool. So now we have the basis of the song. We got chords, bass, drums, and a lead. Um, and when I do lead, because this is obviously me messing around with jazz, but when I'm making a lead, it's almost like the lead is the vocal, right? In another song, this would not work, maybe unless you're doing a breakdown or some little part where you just don't want any vocals. But because I'm making this lead more like the vocal part of it, or how I imagine, I can be more free and open, express myself a little more with an instrument versus because I don't sing and I'm not about to try either. But yeah, so let's go from there. We're gonna Command J on these chords since they're the same. I could throw another chord in here, a little breakup. Yamaha Mafia. Did you get one, or did you order it, or you decided to still wait on me to show you tomorrow? What's up, Rabbit? Good to see you. Yeah, so I'm curious, did you get the itch and go ahead and pull the trigger? Because they're really hard to get. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's because Yamaha is just waiting to see how they do or what, but there seems to be either that or people jumped on it right away when it came out. Waiting on me. Okay. Well, tomorrow will be that day. Oh, since we're talking about this, I actually was doing some ideas of okay, like how could I explain the weight to somebody without just saying 4 pounds or whatever. So I looked up the Roadcaster Duo, which I used to have, and I think Wabbit, I think you had it too. And that particular one is like 4.4 pounds. So I think, based on what I'm read, that the Yamaha URX 44 is going to be the same amount, about roughly around 4 pounds. So it's probably going to be about that same weight. Now the benefit is, if we don't need a if we don't need a power brick, then that's a huge benefit because the Roadcaster needed a power brick for it to be able to work. So We're gonna see. We're also gonna be testing to see whether an iPad alone can power it. Yeah. So at least you get an idea for what the weight could feel like. And I say could because I won't know until I put it in my hands and actually touch it. But based on the numbers, a Rodecaster Duo is 4.4 pounds. So if it's close to that, then that's your way of being able to say, okay, this is what it might feel like. And I actually thought the Rodecaster Duo wasn't that bad as far as weight, in my personal opinion. Is it the most travel friendly? Yes and no, depending on what you call travel friendly. Is it like the TX6 from Teenage Engineering? Nope. That thing is really tiny. But I personally don't want anything that small anyway because my fingers are kind of fat and I don't want to be fighting the little bitty knobs. Pause. Yeah, well, and that's gonna be the other thing. Yeah, you hope that you get no line noise. Um, I know USB tends to give you a little line noise, so there may be some there, but I'm hoping that it's so minute, it's not that bad. Because I always felt like the Zoom L6 had some line noise in it too, and it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was at moments it would drive me crazy, but it wasn't like non-useful at all. So the biggest problem I had with the L6 was I don't really like the fact that it loads from the top like that. I don't know why, it just irked my nerves. It's a cool little mixer though if you just need one for on the go. Oh, and so a Scarlett 2i2 made by Focusrite, the interface weighs about 1.73 pounds. So let's just use our estimating and say it weighs 2 pounds. So if you put two of those together weight wise, you get what the Yamaha URX 44 weighs. So that's my measurements I'm using just because those are commonly used and known interfaces that people are aware of. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Also, trying to figure out how compact it is because even if something weighs 4 pounds, if it's compact 4 pounds, you might be more tolerable. So we'll see on that. Yeah, tomorrow we'll get the real deal. And believe me, in less than a few days, I'll know whether it's something I'm keeping or like. Luminar Beats. What's up, man? I'm gonna get that keyboard monitor as well. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's super helpful. Side Brain put this out so you can see right here. OC on the screen right down here. This is a Side Brain thing. So visit his website. You can grab it. And it's a nice tool to help you kind of practice your scales. And Ableton being able to lock the scale right here, you can actually just see where you need to play and learn your scales pretty quick. Super. Ample sound is still the best in my opinion. If you're trying to get a guitar, you can't go wrong with ample sound. Trillion is still my favorite bass if you're looking for upright, and but if you want, you can always go get ample sound and just buy their upright bass. You can buy any of their basses and they're pretty good. I just like Trillion because you get all the synth bass as well as the upright and the muted jazz bass and the slap bass, etc., etc. So it's kind of nice. Um, and then let's do this. Let's duplicate the bass while we're here. And we're gonna add in a little what we call an effects slide. So we'll go instruments, we'll go type, upright, and if they have, let's see if they have a slide for it. Yeah, they do. Here we go. So, oops, let me get my mouse. A little upright. Let's see these squeaks, but it's naturally in the bass, so I'm not even worried about it. I'm gonna slide. So this is slide down. Let's go up, down. All right, let's just do that one. So we'll go back to the beginning. Give me a little count in so that I know where to press it. There we go. That's all we need. Turn that counter right there. So let's listen. So there we go. I think I have the groove set on this one. We could take the groove off. Let's take it off and see what it sounds like. So delete it. Should be gone. We'll leave it off. So yeah, I appreciate that, Luminar. Yeah, I mean, you got to collect what you like that works for you. Um, if you know the styles of music you go for me, jazz is gonna be with drums, especially. I love jazz drums, so brushes, things of that nature. I'm gonna turn that kick back. There you go. Yeah, get all that stuff that you like. In fact, when I bought Addictive Drums, that was the first thing I got was the jazz, all the jazz stuff, just because it's the one thing that I'm really mostly intrigued by. There's a million drums out there, but yeah, um, Ample Sound. I think outside of the free stuff that they offer, the 335 is like a go-to in my mind. If you get nothing else, get at least a 335 and maybe the nylon string guitar. Because I think the nylon is like, in my opinion, if you want to do jazz, like it's a go-to. It's the best. Um, and it fits too. So like if I take this off, or let me do this. Let me go option down there, and we'll leave this one on, and you can play this one. Or if you don't like that, you could go. So yeah. Rare radio. We don't get down like that. So yeah, you gonna have to kill that. Definitely gonna have to kill that. That's uncalled for, and we don't do that. Let me see if I can get in here. No, I need to get rid of you. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't have nobody. Yeah, I'm gonna ban your behind. I'm sorry. Don't come up in here with that foolishness. We do not roll like that. All right, cool. Back to the music. That's a shame. People come in here doing stuff like that. All right. Hey, what's up, Hero? Good to see you. Manny, what's up, man? Yeah, just turn the notifications on. That's all you gotta do. Just turn your notifications on. Oh, you talking about what happened with Rare Radio? Man, you just you don't that's a word we don't use. There's a slang word, but that ain't how you spell it. That's for sure. And we don't do that on my channel. Hey man, that you right though. That nylon is a special. The acoustic isn't bad too. I got the Martin. So yeah, the Martin is good. The Taylor is good. I don't have it. Um, the Stratocaster is pretty good. If you need a Strat. And then keep in mind too, you have other presets that kind of give you some variations of whether you use the neck in the middle or the bridge, pickup, etc. You can add your own amps. Oh, not that, sorry. They give you these amps that they have in here, but you can put your own amps in if you want. For me, it's having a variety of guitars without having to um what's the word I'm looking for? Go buy every one of them. So, I mean, you're talking about anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks each one of these presets or each one of these guitars, but if you go out and buy a cheap $500 guitar, you could have had like 5 of these different ones. The White Falcon is dope too. All right, cool. Yeah, so 335 is my favorite. And then if you get something like Amplitude, Fender, so I'm just going to show you this. I'm just using a color limiter on it that actually Hero showed me. But if you go get the Fender collection of amps, I don't know, something like this, you can throw a twin over it. It's pretty good. and then use that to stack with this. I'm gonna put the color limiter last. It's pretty loud though, so if you want to beef the sound up. I don't need that for this because this is real mellow anyway. So I'm gonna put it back at like -3 and I'm fine with that. Little saturation is good enough. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. Manny, let's see. Oh yeah. Well, as soon as I saw it, I just needed to. I've never had to ban anybody or from a channel, and I usually let people express themselves freely, but we're not gonna be using words like that. I'm from the South, and we don't play that. So yeah, there's some limits. We say Master P say no limit. I say I got some limits. Yeah, the ample nylon is incredible for sure. Um, yeah, absolutely, Manny. We don't play. Yes? So I'm using the Osmos right now, Luminar Beats, which is MPE. So yes, it does work with MPE. For instance, I'm gonna turn it on. So look, if you look at the bottom here on this keyboard monitor, you can see when I use the modulation, the string is vibrating. So it's vibrato. But if you look at the pitch on the Osmos or on a excuse me for talking so loud. I got this mic right here. Um on the Osmos, or let's say if you're on the Push 3, you can pitch bend and get that vibrato. So if you want it to be stronger or kind of subtle, or right, that's the actual pitch wheel, right? Versus which is more subtle, and then you can turn up the MPE a lot. It gets kind of weird though. So you got to find a spot for you that's subtle. Like I'm going to do a fourth. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I like a more natural feeling kind of vibrato in the string. So I use a little bit. Yeah. I need some guitar samples. Keep playing. I'm going to sample this. Okay. That's fine by me. Here's your C for you so you can just sample that. There you go. Sample the C and then take that and just put it in and play it off your OPX. Wait, what do you have? The XY and you have the OP1 field. This software is called Ample Sound. Here we can look at it on. Let me see if it'll go over here. Amplesound.net. And then if you go in there, you can look at any of their products. And this is what they look like. So I have this harp. I call it a harp, but it's actually called this, by the way. You got banjos, you got steel guitars, you got Chinese flutes, different other specialty instruments, and then of course bass guitars, electric guitars. Here's your upright bass guitar if you want that for the jazz. And you can see these are the prices without any discounts. Now, once you buy into their system, they give you a percentage off. So you'll buy like one or two things, and then you'll start seeing you get like maybe 5% off or something on the next one. Or you can buy their bundles. So let's say you want 8 instruments, and you can see what the price is. So it gets kind of pricey if you're going in trying to buy everything. My suggestion is just buy what you're going to use. Start there first. Like if you want a nice all around guitar, I mean, they have Telecasters and everything. But if you want something that's just kind of an all around, get yourself this nylon string for sure because it'll sound good. Just telling you that up front. Grab maybe the P bass that they sell, which is this is a jazz bass, a fretless. They have a Stingray. Grab this Fender Precision bass. It'll fit on any of your songs you do, from rock to jazz to R&B, whatever. It'll work. If you just need a basic bass, that one's good. Let's see. And then there's these, there's the Reckenbacher and the John Petrucci 6 string if you want all that extra stuff. But I really say go with either a Strat or a 335. If you can get both, I would say get that one for sure. Get the nylon. If you don't need an acoustic, you can live without. I mean, otherwise, either the Taylor or the Martin, whichever one you prefer. Um, and again, these are just suggestions because you can not get this and still be fine. But that 335, I think, is the go to. You can use it for jazz, you can use it for whatever. So, anyway, those are just my choices personally, but do whatever fits your. But you can see, like, on your first purchase, like here, if you did just those three, the nylon, this one, you're going to spend about $315 just on 3 instruments. But if you go to a store, you could never buy these for this amount of money. This is cheap in comparison. Now, you do need a DAW to throw it in to be able to use it. It does not work in standalone, which is my only gripe. I wish they would have it where it works in standalone. Yeah, add it to your list for sure. Yeah, the Osmos is amazing for sure. Oh, definitely cheaper than the guitar. You're not getting a 335. Even the cheapest 335, like a Epiphone, is going to be like $600, $700 used. So if you go in a store, it might be like $799. Maybe you get it for 600 used. And then if you don't know how to play guitar, you're going to be really jacked up because you're going to be fighting the battle of learning it. It's not hard to play from, well, at least for me, I've been playing a while, but it's not, I think it's one of the easier instruments to learn. But to be really good at it, it takes time, right? You got to practice a lot. Then you're gonna need an amp, and you're gonna need all. Whereas with this, you just get this. They give you some amps. If you look here, you can switch. I'm using a Jazz 120, perfect for this guitar. Put a little saturation on the end of it, and right. Little harp. They haven't done standalone yet, but what's cool is once you get into this, you'll see that you see the tablature here. You can do chords in here. It's all built into it. Here's like a song. I'm not going to play Over the Rainbow and get copyright strike for that. But you have all of that, right? And then you can adjust how much you can put a capo on. If you want a capo on your stuff, you can put a sustain. I don't have a sustain pedal plugged in, but But if you know keys and you have a keyboard that locks the keys or whatever, you can sit and play chords for days on the guitar. I use them mostly to play leads and melodies and things of that nature. But you can do all of that. Play along with a real um when you say play along with a real, you talking about using the tablature? Like here? Yeah, I mean if you understand it, if you can read, this is in 6/4, but if you can read the music, sure, you can also write your own if you want to. So it has a guitar tab player. I'm not sure if you can import, but I think you can. You see down here, load a tab. So you could load a tab into here and use it to play and then sample it if you wanted to. And it has a riffer in it, so you could convert it to riffer if you have that. So there's so much stuff in this thing. You're not just paying for a guitar, you're literally paying for a whole toolbox in itself, right? And this is you drawing chords and changes and stuff. You can see down here the chords. You can take these chords and throw it in your own stuff, but just keep in mind this is over the rainbow, so you don't want to get a copyright strike messing around with somebody else's music. And then you can go into the settings and change the settings in here. I'm not going to show you my personal information on that one, but yeah. And then you can change whether it's going to be finger picking or whether it's going to be a pick, right? Because obviously they sound different. So yeah, that is Ample Sound, and all of their instruments are dope, in my opinion. If I could see the notes and chords being played, I can mimic. Yeah, absolutely. If you go in and write it, yeah, you can mimic it. Or drop a tablet or drop a import a tab here. And then you could learn the song. For sure, you could use it that way. It comes with your reverb, delay, an equalizer, and a compressor that's built into it. And that's pretty much it. So there you go. Ample sound, worth having. One more time, here's the song. Check out the MPE down here. So, cool. Everybody, cool. All right. So that's pretty much it for the day on this video. I think I'll be back on for sure. I know I'll be back on it tomorrow with the Yamaha URX 44, and I'll be giving some thought into that to see if it's going to be a keeper or not. I think the first thing is just get it into my hands to see what it feels like, what it can do. I think the first video will be the unboxing, and we'll do some power testing on the first video. Um, that way, it can easily be determined like whether it's a keeper on that aspect. Then we'll do a video where we'll focus on the sound because I need time to hear it myself to see if I can give you any kind of insight or opinion on it. So we'll do the sound testing stuff later. And so it'll be probably a series of 2 to 3 videos, but they'll be all done like not too long after each other. So you won't have to wait days or anything like that. I don't do editing on videos. So what you see is what you get. And I put it out right away so people can make a decision based on whatever information I can give them. And hopefully that helps. You guys got to see a few things in here that you can do. This is literally 2 chords. So you can see they're played differently a little bit, but it's 2 chords. And if you want to adjust here, you can do some more randomization like that so that the chords strike differently. There you go. Oh, I didn't even really talk much about this, but this is UAD's Electric 88 Vintage keys, and it is approximately like 30 bucks. Really a good suitcase, good um, kind of roads, I'm gonna call it roads vibes. So they sound really good to me. There's some effects that I'm using none of down here. And then of course you got presets if you go up here, pedals, amplifiers, etc. I mean, for $29 it's pretty much a steal if you can get it from UAD. And that is it. I told you guys about Trillion. I showed you. You guys have seen me use the the addictive drums for the jazz, and that is what I use. I do have a drum enhancer and a transient shaper on the drums too, with a little Valhalla vintage reverb. That reverb is drum air. Here, let's take a peek at it. It's a preset of mine, but it's also a preset in here. So it's called Drum Air. And then what I do is just set it for like 10%. You can do this with any reverb you want. There's some built-in reverbs in Ableton that are okay. There you go. And then just lock that in, and it kind of gives the drums some little, just some air so that they sound like they're in a room. All right. And that is it. Thank you, everyone, from Manny, Crazy Rabbit, Hero, Lunar Beats. I'm going back through the names. Marcus, Ed, Oscar. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. But I think that's everybody that commented. Anybody else that stopped in, I just appreciate you. If you can hit the like on your way out, I appreciate that too. and I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure on the next video. All right. Take care. I'm out.